grew up with a lot of horses. My dad was a racehorse trainer. He rode racehorses. At the time that him and my mom met, he was assistant trainer for Dwayne Lucas when he was quarter horses. I think that was a fortunate thing, was that he rode and broke a lot of great racehorses. And he was able to be around the horsemen that were influenced of maybe what a good horse was. My mom and dad ran a barn by themselves. And every day they'd get up and you get out there, at 5 o'clock, and my dad rode them to the track. My mom mucked all the stalls and tacked them all up. And I had a little round pen outside the race horse barn, and that I learned to ride in with a pony, and they stuck me in a round pen because there wasn't any babysitters. My dad always taught me, he said, I can't tell you what I'm doing, you gotta learn what you're doing. I was always on a good horse. Even my first barrel horse was my mom's barrel horse. When I was 4 years old, I ran the fastest time of the rodeos. So I had horses that we competed on and horses we played on. I wasn't able to play on those good horses because they had a job, and their job was very disciplined. We were into the race horses and how fast they could run straight away and how quick we could recover them. And that's a great opportunity because I was able to be in a position that they taught me how to take care of a horse and the leg work of a horse. As they say, stay under them. And with ice boots and leg work and rubbing them. And we treat them like we're racetrackers. You have to work to get to the spot you want to be, and in today's society, I think that's what's happened is some kids are just given something, and then they don't have to work to make that anything. So to me, work ethic's left a lot of people. When you're able to see people achieve their goals, and maybe that's what you maybe want to do also, that's what makes you a better person in life. In life, of even if it's working or if it's just being a friend or being a mentor. You get to see that person achieve it. So to me, if you get to watch, listen, and learn, then you want to do that. When I look at a horse, I like to look at a good eye. An eye that feels like that it's going to be work, that it's not trying to just feel like I'm going to have to fight it all the time. In a horse's eye, you can tell the softness of them. I like to have a big hip so that they're able to control the stopping movements and the turn. And I look at a certain way the hip's set, so if it looks like I'm going to have hock problems or stifle problems, because mine are performance horses, so I've got to make sure they're able to take that kind of hard work every day. And I like the racehorse breeding. Sometimes it crosses with a little bit of cow breeding, but I like run. I like to see how fast they can run, because usually I can work with them and keep them calm to turn, and in these days and times you have to have a lot of run. When I went to the NFR, it was at that period of time in my life that I could go, and it was I had a horse that I knew was only going to last a certain period of time, because he was already 14 years old. He already had some problems when I bought him, and I was fortunate. The first year that I went, I hauled him a little bit harder than what he should have. I went to about 50, 60 rodeos on him. The second year, I only had to go to 30 rodeos on him, and that's outstanding. And he was one of those that you knew when you pulled up, if you didn't hit a barrel, you were going to win a check. Now it's so hard because I don't like to travel. I've traveled all my life. I've competed professionally since I was 11 years old. So I just have so much at home to do. To ride the futurity colts that I have, or that I'd like to prepare for futurities, you have to get them ready at such a young age. And it's hard to put them in the trailer and be able to continue to train on them in a surrounding. Sometimes they need the same surrounding every day. It's like a kid going to school. They need that the same surrounding and get to know what they're doing before they're able to go out into the world and learn some different surroundings. So that's just what it is today. I'm able to compete. We live in an area that has barrel races all the time, that will have 300 to 800 entered at them every time. Rodeos within 2 to 3 hours everywhere. So I'm in a great area to be able to compete professionally, or I can go to some amateur rodeos and not have to travel, come home every night, and get up the next morning and be able to do the same thing I want to do. I mean, it is one of my most memorable moments because winning 50,000 is great. So I run, and I've got Christy Peterson left. And so at that point, we're thinking, oh man, I might win it, might not win it, and Christy hits a barrel. And so I won it. And there's just nothing like that, because there's 50,000 people there, and they take you on the stage and give you this big old check, and you know, fireworks are going off, and you're sitting there and you're just thinking you can't believe you won 50,000. And then you get in the truck and you drive all night trying to make another one. April Hemp is the horse that I went. We call him April, but it's a Gildan. He's the horse that I made it to the NFR on. He's still alive. He was currently turned out in the pasture with an older horse that we have that we all learned how to team rope on. And that horse is a 78 model. So he's pretty much kind of really lost his hearing and lost his eyesight. But April's his caretaker. He'll hang out with him in the pasture, and he'll go get him and bring him up to feed and water. And it's going to be a bad day when that happens. But they lope around. They look great, and they have the life of luxury. They get fly sheets and fly blankets, and they get taken care of just like if they were still competing. But my definition of a cowgirl is somebody that's really good with a horse. Somebody that can work with a horse, bring them from the scratch, or even fix a horse that's not very good at the time. To be able to get in the minds of a horse and get them to come your way and go the direction that you want them to go, but also to coach them. There's not always, when you're training a horse, that you have to train and then you have to coach. When a cowgirl is able to be successful and they have the determination and the work to do it every day to try to get better and make their horses better, is probably the best, because you always have the horse in mind.